Welcome into the roundtable. I'm Brad Wakai. That is Tyson Gentry. Lot to discuss today, Tyson. We didn't think we were going to have too much to talk about in this Thursday Night Football game, but, well, the Raiders Raidered, and then I got a nice little analogy I think you're going to like with Baker Mayfield coming over to the Rams. Then, of course, we are getting ready for our picks for NFL Week 14 in money-making time. We'll go through each game and give out picks that we like. But, let's start here, man. Baker's comeback, Baker's debut for the Rams of getting released by the Panthers, drives 98 yards, and the Rams inexplicably win, scoring 14 points in the fourth quarter and beat the Raiders, who were in control the entire game. I don't even know what to say. I'm going to let you have first crack at it before we start going crazy here.
Well, I guess my main takeaway from that, and no disrespect to the Rams or the Raiders, but I understand the way the rules are written, but a little thing like Jerry Tillery hitting the ball out of Baker Mayfield's hand, that shouldn't be allowed to decide a game. Like, that shouldn't be – in that situation, I don't know what you do because you can't make it not worth the 15 yards that it is in other times. But maybe keep the flag in your pocket, and before you get upset and say, like, that's the way the rule book's written, they don't call pass interference or holding or any of that stuff in big moments. They kind of let you play. It's real rare for them to toss a flag on a 4th and 1 as time expires, right? But
Yep.
And it's the same thing with Chris Jones. Like, he said something mean to Matt Ryan so that now the Chiefs lose to the Colts earlier in the year. Like, it's kind of bullshit, man. And it led to a really cool story, obviously, with Baker leading the comeback drive. And leading is, I guess you could say that's what he did. But Ben Skoranek made a crazy catch. It was check down city and really good ball to Van Jefferson to win it. But for the most part, it was just like the Raiders doing what they've done for 20 years.
Dude, I just can't believe that Baker Mayfield – I'm laughing thinking about it. The dude, he sucks, dude. It's just insane that we're going to have to talk about it. Like, oh, the moxie of this guy. I can't believe Baker, just the Baker Mayfield effect. The guy fucking sucks. And we're going to try to get tricked into this guy again by the entire narrative because for some reason people like Baker Mayfield. Here's the analogy. He's Lucy and Charlie Brown with the football. Every single time we are Charlie Brown, we try to go and kick the football. Lucy pulls it away from us. And we keep wondering, like, man, why do we get duped by Baker Mayfield again? He is pretty bad. Yes, he sucks. He never should have been drafted number 1. He's on his 3rd fucking team right now. Like, I just don't understand. And of course, he makes his comeback. Everybody's going to buy into it again just so he can get duped again. Now, the only thing that I'm happy about with this, Tyson, the Rams might actually have a favorable price so we can fade this team. They're horrible. I can't wait. I hope it's a soft line so we can hammer the other team for the rest of the season.
You know what's so crazy, too, is what did they say? This is the Raiders' 9th loss on a one-possession game, and the Vikings have 9 wins in those games. And that's just like the razor edge difference in the NFL because the Raiders play out. They're out. That was it. They're missing the Baker Mayfield-led Rams just knocked out the Raiders, which I don't think was on anybody's 2022 sheet for what they thought was going to happen in the NFL. But I agree with you, dude. This guy's bad. And it was a shit game. And then the Raiders start running too high, running shell, letting everything funnel towards the sidelines, which, by the way, if you've ever watched Baker Mayfield, only throw the dude can make. It's like the only one. And they just kept letting him throw to the sideline. It was like, are you kidding me? And that's ultimately why they're going to miss the playoffs. I know he's been on the team for 2 days, but act like, there's a possibility he's going to play. Don't just be like, okay, we're running vanilla. It's week 14, like 15 or whatever it is. Put everything out there. You have to win the game. It was brutal.
It's terrible. And let's get to the Raiders. Like we don't want to pound everything to death here. I mean, the Rams, kind of like what Tom Brady's done a couple times and against the Rams, just pulled victory out of the jaws of defeat. And Baker Mayfield did that tonight, went 98 yards. On some level, you got to give some credit, but it's just absurd that we actually have to act like this guy's an NFL QB for a couple more weeks until.
Is anybody going to fall for it though? Like if he plays well the next couple of weeks, he's not going back to Carolina, but like is Houston, that somehow they miss out on Bryce Young or something they don't want. Like, is there anywhere in the league you could play?
I
don't think so.
It's just insane.
Somebody's going to fall for it, though. Like, if he plays well, for sure. He's got the McVay shine on him now. Look at the heart that he has.
Oh, the moxie, the Baker moxie. Raiders, though, here's something I saw. So the Raiders lost this game, right? So they led 16-3 with 3 minutes and 30 seconds left in this game in the fourth quarter. They were up 17-0 on both the Chiefs and the Jags. They lost. And then they were leading the Cardinals 23-7 with 8 minutes and 15 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Lost all those games. It's just a clown show there. And it looked like, they were turning the corner. Okay, Raiders would start thinking playoffs for them. And then in a game that they had no business losing, they, of course, find a way to lose. I mean, like you said, they're done. They scored 3 points in the second half. They scored 10 in the first quarter. Looked like they were in cruise control and then took their foot off the gas. Once again, I say it every single time, Derek Carr is just not that guy where it does anything in big moments. I mean, in the second half, they needed so many different things, and the guy just can't do it. It's driving me nuts, and that's just what this Raiders team is. It's just insane ways they lose with a coach who seemingly has no business being a head coach in the NFL.
They lost this game. I can't remember. I think it was second quarter. It might have been third quarter when they were driving with a real opportunity to put them away in the red zone. And he just kind of lazily floated a pass to the front of the end zone. It looked like he was looking for Foster Moreau, but he threw it willingly took something off of the pass to be 6 yards short. Interception, they lose the game. And one thing that's been bothering me about the Raiders, because I've been seeing people say, like, oh, the points per game, and you can go back through, and Derek, he scores points. That's what the Raiders offense does. Daniel Carlson is like maybe the second best kicker in the NFL. And I think if they had a league average kicker, they're scoring like 3 to 6 points less a game. This dude, under Gruden, was getting 5 cracks at this. Under McDaniels, he's getting 2, 3, 4 shots a game. Like, they can't score touchdowns. And he's never been good at scoring touchdowns, but when they get down into the red zone, it is boring. It is. Okay, first and from the 5, we're going to hand it to Josh. Doesn't work. Okay, now we're going to run a play action, and nobody's going to get open. And then we'll either hand it to Josh again or throw it to Devontae. It's just boring. The only time they mix it up is an end around to Mac Hollins. This is the genius that like everybody in the league had to have.
Yeah, again, and we talked about this. Devontae Adams was cooking in the first half. He's 3 receptions, 71 yards. That's it? 3 catches for this guy? We just saw what he did last week. Why is he not involved in the game plan more? Sure, 7 targets. How do you not just get him the football? Whether it's slant routes, whether it's even fucking screen passes. Like, it just drives me insane. They're like, wow, man, we have a recipe. We've done really well these past 3 weeks. You know what we should do, Tyson? Let's just get away from it. Because why do we need to win games? It's just so bad. And the Raiders Raidered, man. That's what they've done all season. Like you said at the top, they've been doing this for 20 years. They find ways to lose. It's no longer just win, baby. It's let's lose, baby.
It's bullshit when you look at because people are like, oh, Devontae's getting plenty of looks. Some of those aren't catchable at all. Like the last one that was thrown directly to Taylor Rapp, that's a Devontae Adams target. The ones that fly out of bounds, those are Devontae Adams targets. Like, just get the dude the ball. Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams are their only form of offense, and Foster Moreau pops up here and there, and he was invisible today. Vegas is cooked, man, and they're, for lack of a better term, for the next 4 or 5 years, they're fucked.
Dude, and I was thinking about this, right? Because we were all talking about, hey, maybe they have a shot the back door in. Jets are kind of vulnerable. We don't really know who else in that I guess, kind of bottom tier, the 6-7 seeds, actually going to be a legit contender in the AFC. Raiders kind of have a soft schedule. Can they find their way in? And then they do something like this, and now they're done. Like, it's over. It's just pack your bags up. Let's start planning the offseason, the vacations. It's ridiculous.
You think they host people in Vegas for the offseason?
I have no clue.
Do you think some of these guys might? I mean, Mark Davis probably has to get a second job just to be able to afford these contracts.
Man, it's ridiculous. I can't believe this is the way the Raiders season ended on a Thursday Night Football.
You know how pissed you got to be if you're a Raiders fan. You look around the league and like everybody that you struggled with for the last decade. Like the Bengals are good now. The Browns go out and they get a franchise quarterback, somebody they want to lead them to the Super Bowl. The Lions, things are looking up. Like you're looking around the league, you're like, God damn it! But it's just us. We're the only ones left.
It's crazy. It's crazy. All right, let's get the blood pressure a little bit lower, Tyson. Let's talk about some bets, and we can have our blood pressure raised again on Sunday when inevitably the things we think should happen don't. Money making time, baby. Let's go through the slate. Interesting slate. A lot of good games, a lot of divisional games, which I think adds a lot of different value on some underdogs. But let's start here. Vikings at Lions. Lions a 1.5 point favorite over the Vikings. Listen, the Lions have played great. They play exceptionally well at home. Are you doing anything in this one?
I mean, principal play for me. Like, it's the second best record in the NFL against everybody's favorite team right now. I don't think this line would be the same with anybody else in the Vikings tier. And so for that reason, like, if you give me plus money that the Vikings beat the Lions, I got to take it at plus 108.
And what is it? Let me pull this up. I had it up. Let's see.
Plus
So you're on
108.
Vikings plus 108. Okay. Vikings
And full disclosure, I think the Lions are going to, at least play with them, if not win the game. But like I said, this is one of those where it's like, okay, if Kansas plays Ball State and Ball State's won 6 in a row, I got to go with Kansas. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, especially because Vikings started out as a favorite here, kind of flipped into Lions, and this so a lot of like the sharps or the wise guys, they hate the Vikings, right? I mean, they just hate them. They think they suck. So, but Tyson's on the Vikings. This would be such a Lions thing, right? All the momentum for them just to find a way to lose. It's a Lions thing for sure. I'm gonna stay away from both the over. I know that's getting looked at as well as the spread. I'm just gonna go Lions team total over 26.5 here. This is a juggernaut offense at home. And I think people poo-poo it a little bit because Jared Goff's the QB and we think he sucks. This is his best season of his career. And their offensive coordinator is actually legit, man. Like, he designs things. His receivers are getting open. Amon-Ra St. Brown, obviously a talent. Now that Swift's getting healthy and that offensive line is starting to get healthier as well. This is a legit offense against a Vikings defense I think has major holes in it. So I'm going to play Lions angle at home. I like their team total to go over here. I think they definitely can score 4 touchdowns or, get over this number, whatever combo is necessary here. So that's my angle here. Now, rematch game, another divisional game here. Jets at Bills. Remember, Jets beat the Bills when in MetLife. Josh Allen had this kind of started the string of bad play here. Obviously, new quarterback Mike White, the QB. Are you touching anything in this one?
Leaning Jets plus 10. I think that number is pretty big. Also think the Jets might be a little worse than the last time they played, or maybe a little bit deflated. But 10 points in a divisional game, especially one that was as close as last time, it just feels a little bit too good to be true.
I see what you're saying, but I'm going to play an angle here. Bills minus 10. I know it's a big one, but the Bills have found a run game all of a sudden. I think that definitely helps them against a defense as good as the Jets when you're not one-dimensional. We've talked about this with Josh Allen for a long time in this offense, is when they become one-dimensional and too reliant, you either need him to hit a home run or this offense is stagnant. I think with a little bit of balance, or whatever the Bills consider a balance of the run game that doesn't include 17, this offense has looked much better. They need this 1 seed. They have it now. I don't think they're ready to give it up. And they certainly don't want to lose to the Jets again, who they think they should have beaten in the first place. I think they try to make a statement here at home and look to pound the Jets. Open 10, went down to 9.5, back up to 10. I like the Bills here to cover this number, minus 10. I'm rolling with the home team. Ravens at Steelers. Oh, man, this is interesting. Tyler Huntley's probably going to start. Steelers have started to play a lot better. Steelers are maybe putting together a playoff push. I don't know. Is there any angle you're finding this?
Dude, that's just so stupid. People are saying that. It's like, are we watching different NFLs right now? Like, they have a shot for sure. If they win out, they can make the playoffs. I'm not going to touch this game. I'm interested at that over-under. It's just 36.5 is real low.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, granted, it was playing the Broncos, and he comes in out of nowhere basically for Tyler Huntley. But we've got enough sample size in this offense to know it doesn't change a ton. But I don't know if the Ravens with Lamar Jackson were going to put up 4 touchdowns against Pittsburgh. So I'm going to stay away from this one, and I'm going to be taking notes for when they meet again in a couple weeks.
Ravens money line for me. I think if Tyler Huntley's good. Like, I like Tyler Huntley. And we think Kenny Pickett's better than Huntley. Like, I don't know about that, honestly. Like, I know people like him and people wanted to say, like, this dude's awesome. I'm not quite so sure that the Tyler Huntley's not better than Kenny Pickett. Ravens, they just drove down the field and they needed to against the best defense in the NFL, or second best in the Broncos. That defense is better than the Steelers' defense. The way to beat the Steelers, vertical threats. If there's one thing that they have, it's speed on the outside. Tyler Huntley may be able to get the ball to him. I'm just going to roll it with Ravens money line here. Everybody's on the Steelers thinking it's hot. Steelers are going to come together without Lamar Jackson. You always get a boost after your star is injured. I like Ravens to win this one outright. Give me Ravens money line at plus 106. Now, our boys here, road favorites, 7-point favorites going into MetLife Stadium against the Giants. Anything you're taking in this one?
Yeah, actually, I'm taking the over 44.5, and I'm also taking the Birds to cover at -7. I think this is going to be similar to what the Eagles did a week ago to Tennessee, or really you can kind of run back through. When they don't play down to the level of their competition. It happened once so far this season, and that was it. And I think that this is more of a statement game, like we're trying to distance ourselves from Dallas, especially with Dallas just running over everybody. But Philly just played their most complete game of the year. New York is coming off a tie. Is that going to be motivation, or is that like a deflating thing? The week out, you're playing the best team in the NFL. I think Philadelphia is going to do essentially whatever they want on offense, and that's why I think the over hits. And then if they're doing whatever they want on offense, they're going to cover my -7.
I like that. And if you parlay those two together, Tyson saying, hey, if the Eagles are going to cover a big number, you're going to have more points. That's plus 210. Or you can take it single, obviously. I like that angle. I'm not playing anything here as of now. I'm curious to see where this goes. I mean, the principal states, division dogs are very, very lucrative in December. But like you said, what's that motivation factor look like for the Giants? Yes, they're still in the playoffs, but a tie against the Commanders team, sure, they win this one, they're pretty much lock up a playoff spot. Eagles similarly, they want to make a statement against the Giants, man. They want to pound them. I'm staying away from it now.
They've owned the Giants for a decade.
I'm curious here. Let me see this, Tyson. Let me see if there's anything team total related that may be something tantalizing here. Giants 18.5, horrible number. Eagles 26.5 feels low, but man, I don't know. I just feel like they might be able to just run all over this team. I'm curious to see where this thing ends up, but I'm going to.
Well, one of the things the Giants do well, and we talk about them being like a great run-stopping defense, but they want to play you essentially. We're going to play one-on-one on the outside and stop the run, and that's how Tennessee tried to play Philadelphia a week ago. Jalen Hurts threw for 380 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like you can't play these guys straight up, and if you don't have 7 in the box, it's 300 yards on the ground. We've seen this. I just don't think the Giants have enough answers on defense to deal with Philly.
Next game here, Browns at Bengals, rematch of the Halloween game. Bengals now 5.5-point favorites. Since they lost the Halloween game against the Browns, they haven't lost the Bengals. I mean, they look fantastic. Jamar Chase is back. On the Browns, Deshaun Watson's playing. Looked horrible against the Texans, but this is the second game back. You playing anything here?
No, and it sucks. Like I want to. I want to take the Bengals at 5.5. Joe Burrow's never beat the Browns, which is kind of a weird fun fact about his career to this point, because we're talking about guys 3-0 against Pat Mahomes, but he's never beaten the Browns. I'm not playing this for the simple fact that Deshaun was knocking off some ring rust last week. So I want to see what this offense actually looks like as he kind of settles in here, because maybe the Browns are really good. Like if Deshaun Watson's as good as he was, then the Browns are going to be a really good team. And I don't want to be on the wrong end of that.
I'm taking Browns plus 5.5. And like you mentioned, it's not the Burrow angle necessarily, because listen, he lost to Baker Mayfield and lost to Jacoby Brissett. What's everything have in common there? The head coach was Kevin Stefanski. Like he's never beaten Kevin Stefanski. And we're not big Stefanski guys on this show, but there is something to be said there. The matchup may just be way too difficult. It just happens like that in the NFL sometimes.
We're not big Zach Taylor guys either. So I think that kind of evens out, yeah.
That's true. Now, why I'm on the Browns, like I said a little bit earlier, divisional dogs in December, super lucrative here. They have the blueprint to beat the Bengals. Like they've done it in the past. It's something with that defensive line or those secondary players. That defense just figures out Burrow, makes it difficult. And I think you get an upgrade at QB with Deshaun Watson. I expect them to play better this week. I think if they lose, it's going to be by a field goal. It's going to be tight. So I like Browns plus 5.5 here. Another division game, Jags at Titans. Titans coming off an ass whooping that got their GM fired. Jags coming off an ass whooping that was just an ass whooping against the Lions. You playing anything in this one?
Yeah, the Titans are going to kick the shit out of the Jaguars. Titans minus 3.5. This is a team that's fighting for, they want to win the division as quick as possible over in Tennessee. And this is the way to do it, because everyone else in the South sucks. So they get by Jacksonville here and they're coasting. They had a really bad week last week. Derrick Henry had 38 yards. Tannehill couldn't get anything going. they're not really going to be able to score the ball again anyways, but Derrick Henry against the Jaguars, you might as well play or prop 200 yards and 2 touchdowns because I think Tennessee's just going to beat him up.
Yeah, it's interesting. I kind of want to take the Jaguars. It feels sharp, but it's like you can go broke trying to be too sharp here. I mean, the Jags maybe just be a dead team. Like, is Trevor Lawrence even healthy after that thing? After that, it looked like he tore his knee up. Then he comes back and he's fine. Apparently, now he's sore. Like, I don't know. I'm staying away from this. You couldn't.
What did you do when you saw that? Because when that came up on Red Zone, I was like, "Holy shit!"
I texted my brother. Texted me. I'm like, "Dude, that was bad. Like, he's done."
He's dead. That's a scorpion. That's like when you're out riding dirt bikes with somebody and they go right off the front. Boom. Legs to the shoulder.
It's horrible. I couldn't believe it when he came back in. I'm like, dude, he's walking. Are you kidding me?
And he's 6'6" too. It's like, how the fuck these ligaments stay intact?
Insane. Now, not a divisional game, but an interstate game here. Texans at Cowboys. Davis Mills, your boy, is back facing the Cowboys, who are 17.5-point home favorites. Oh, gosh, that's a lot here. Are you touching this? There's a whisper that you might be ballsy here. Are you going to roll with them?
Oh, 100%, man. I took a principal play off the start with the Vikings. I'm doing it again. This line is huge. This line is massive. Like 17, 18-point wins in the NFL are more rare, I think, than people would want you to believe, especially when you think they're going to happen. That's the thing. Like when somebody goes in there and wins by 30, you're almost always scratching your head. Davis Mills is, I think, going to have – we were talking before the show. He's just going to have a Davis Mills game. One of those that reminds everybody that he can be on a roster for 10 years. He doesn't have to be your starter. He's not going to turn the ball over enough, I don't think, for Dallas to just kind of do whatever they want. Texans aren't dead. Like, everybody else might know that they're dead, but they're not playing like some team that is giving up on the season. And I think this is going to be like a 17-point game. I'm riding a line here. It's razor sharp, but 18 points is huge.
I'm going to be ballsy here. I'm going to go Texans team total over 13.5 for plus money. Like, I literally just saw it, and it's like the principle of it. I can't play the Texans because I hate them, and they're dead to me. Like, they may not be dead. They're just dead to me. Like, I don't give a shit. But like we said, this may be the Davis Mills game that we've been waiting for. He gets benched. He comes back. We're like, oh, he sucks. Then he just goes out and shreds it up. Like, give me 2 touchdowns for plus money. Come on, baby. Let's go. We can handle it.
Could you imagine? I mean, if he beats Dallas, the world's going to melt down on Monday. It'll be amazing.
I need him to somehow win 3 games and the Bears lose all of them so I can hit that Bears bet. The worst thing in the league ticket. Still trying.
Yeah, just a shred.
Chiefs 9.5-point road favorites against the Broncos. Man, this is interesting. The Broncos just play close games. Like they stay in the number because that defense is so good. But when does that defense give up? Like when does this offense become so unwatchable or it's so unplayable for lack of a better term, that this defense like, screw it, man. We're packing our bags. We know we're done. Can you do anything in this game?
I mean, I think this is a money line parlay play. This goes on your little money line ticket, your five legger. I don't think there's any way the Chiefs lose this game. But 9.5, like we've seen the Broncos play really good offenses this season, and those teams walk away with 16 points, 17 points, 20 points. Denver can't score, but they might be able to get 10. And if they get 10, I don't know if this thing covers.
I can't touch this game. I haven't touched the Broncos. They're dead to me, so I'm like, screw them. Like I just can't do it. Like I'm not getting involved in this one at all. Either way, I'm going to be too frustrated. So I'm not.
Why do you have this mentality in the NFL, but you don't have it in like any other sport? There's like basketball players that'll be dead to you, but you'll go back to Nebraska 100 times. You go back to Northwestern, like you love being hurt in college football, but in the NFL, you don't want to play them.
I know, which is so opposite because like it's the culture in football or in college. It's like, no, it can be changed, right? Like, well, to be fair, I went back to Arizona and I went back to Kansas this year, and I just burned me on the stupid because you told me at least with Arizona, you're on my side. You're like, hey, it could happen. Kansas, maybe. Nebraska, like, dude, that's in the Northwest, like that's the stupidest thing you could have done. I'm like,
you're addicted, man.
Yeah, I'm addicted to gluttony. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm taking anything Nebraska over with Matt Rule next year. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I mean, it's been lucrative to fade you on your Nebraska plays for the last couple of years.
They could set the line with Matt Rule at 10.5. I'd still go over.
Oh, you'd smash it. You'd be calling me at 1:30 in the morning. You'd be like, dude, did you see the 12-0 line for Nebraska's plus 240?
Even money.
You gotta get it.
All right, Panthers, Seahawks. Seahawks 4-point favorites at home. Panthers coming off a bye. Sam Darnold back at the reins here. Offense looked much better when beating the Broncos. Anything you're doing here in this game?
This feels disrespectful to me. This is Seahawks -4. The Seahawks are fighting for a playoff position. The Panthers are fighting to get the number 1 draft pick. These guys are at completely different crossroads at this point in their season. And the Seahawks have new life with Brock Purdy in San Francisco. And luckily or unluckily for them, I guess, luckily for us as bettors, San Francisco doesn't play earlier in the day. So Seattle doesn't have like an extra cushion of comfort if the Niners lose in the early window and they hear that at halftime. I think Seattle's just going to boat race these dudes. I think we're going to get classic Darnold, baby. We're going to get a couple picks.
Are you concerned at all about the running back injuries?
No. From what I can tell, like Kenny Walker didn't practice today. DJ Dallas didn't seem like he practiced today. Geno lit it up last weekend, and he had a couple bad throws, but I think he can light it up against the Panthers. And the other part is Ken Walker's really good. But Rashad Penny was really good, and Chris Carson was really good, and Marshawn Lynch was really good, and you can run through the guys in Seattle. It's kind of a machine the way they run the ball.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I'll probably be on that Seahawks pick with you. I'm not there yet. I want to see a little bit more info, but I'm leaning that way with you. Here you go. You mentioned Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's a 3.5-point favorite against Tom Brady. What planet are we on? I think you know where I'm going here, but are you doing anything in this one?
No. The Buccaneers, you mentioned a couple of teams that are dead to you. The Bucs are dead to me. This is just an uninspired, lethargic, bad offense for 55 to 58 minutes a week. And I'm sick of playing it. And the San Francisco 49ers, we didn't get to see everything that this offense is going to be with Brock Purdy, but we got a decent idea. I mean, he played a good amount last week, and it was a short week, but he's been practicing the whole time. He's aware of the full playbook, and I think Shanahan was limiting him on purpose. But they have so many weapons that I think he can just kind of be okay, and they'll beat the Bucs.
Well, this is my play of the week, and maybe
this is going to try this week.
I don't know, man. Here we go. Bucs plus 3.5. New life. I remember when they came back against the Rams, they had new life. They won the next week. This team knows it's time to start figuring this thing out. They pretty much locked up the division last week. Let's make a statement on the road, I think, for the Bucs, where they're going to go and they want to say, hey, we still are to be feared. I think the offense will look a lot better than it did last week. Yes, this defense is really good, but so is the Bucs, and it's against Brock Purdy. I don't know, man. This seems insane to me. I'm going to take plus 3.5 for the Bucs play of the week. There's no way if they lose it's by more than 3.5. I just can't see it.
And, well, I'm not going mono with you on your play of the week. What's that hitting at right now at this point of the season?
6-1, 7-1?
Yeah, so I think
I'll have to double check.
I think I might have to ride on that.
Come on in, baby. I'll be on the Seahawks with you if you get on the Bucs with me, even though they're dead. I don't want to advise it. But. All right, Sunday Night Football. Dolphins 3. Oh, it's up to 3.5 now. Holy smokes! It literally just moved as we're doing this, Tyson. Dolphins up to 3.5 now on FanDuel, visiting LA and the Chargers. That seems kind of high to me on the road. 5.5 favorites on a neutral. Dolphins over Chargers. Woo. Anything you're playing in this one?
It was way cooler at the start of the show when it was 3. I was way more comfortable taking the flat number. That's what I had in here, but obviously I don't have FanDuel where I live, so I'm not able to lock these in here. But I guess no play right now. I'll wait to see what happens with that. Miami, I think, is the better football team, is the more explosive football team, should win the game. Chargers will outsmart themselves at some point. And by the way, Brad, this is something that blew my mind. I've been watching all the games. It just doesn't feel like it should be real. Justin Herbert has the second lowest average air yards per throw in the NFL, average yards per attempt.
Really?
That like for anything people want Joe Lombardi to be fired for, that should be number one on the list. That's criminal.
That is crazy.
He did one thing well. Like, he does a lot of things well, but the one thing he does exceptional is spin the shit out of the ball. And you're not letting him throw that thing around the field?
Oh my God. I didn't know that. Yeah, geez, that's criminal. I'm not doing anything here. I mean, at 3.5, I would lean Chargers. I got a little, I'm going to tease something a little bit later that I'm going to roll out on this show. But I'm going to play Chargers. I think if it stays at 3.5, it gets back down to 3. I may still play him. I don't know. This feels like a potential over game at 52.5, but that seems also a little bit too square. But I don't know. I'm leaning Chargers here at this number at 3.5 as the home dog here. And now last one, Monday Night Football. Patriots 1.5-point road favorites over the Cardinals. Listen, I know the Cardinals suck at home, but Bill Belichick's also bad against mobile quarterbacks. Are you doing anything in this one?
Yeah, I am. And this is, again, I'm going to end it with the principal play here too. We say all year that Bill Belichick beats bad quarterbacks. But I think what we're really saying is Bill Belichick beats boring offenses, bad offenses. And a lot of those times, those are led by bad quarterbacks. Kyler Murray is not the worst quarterback in the NFL. You and I are in agreement that he's not anywhere near the level that he gets talked about all the time. I think Bill Belichick is just going to be able to scheme up a defense that's going to be able to stop Arizona from getting anything going. These guys want to blow the locker room up, dude. Like, this season's over. Everybody hates Cliff. Like, what did Kyler say after the game? Schematically, we were kind of fucked. Yeah. Like, before the play starts for his head coach, you go out there, you can't really run the ball. And James Conner's going to play this week, and he might get 70 yards because that seems to be the James Conner ceiling at this point in the year. If it's not DeAndre Hopkins, they're not going anywhere. And who's the best of all time at taking away what you do well? It's Bill Belichick. I don't think the Patriots even have to score a crazy amount of points to be able to cover this because that offense sucks too, and it feels weird taking them. But 1.5, Bill Belichick playing for something against an Arizona Cardinals team that wants to pack it in and go home, I gotta take the go.
Yeah, I hate being on the. That was a great argument. I'm on the other side here. It's the principle here too. Belichick can't guard mobile quarterbacks. I don't know what it is recently about what's been going on there. I hate doing this. I blackballed the Cardinals. I don't know why I'm back on them. Maybe I'll remove this one, but I have this in the account, so technically I can't. I hate playing the Cardinals, but here it seems off a bye. Like, is there a kumbaya moment? I don't know. Probably not. Like you said, they want to blow up the locker room. Kyler Murray's probably playing Call of Duty the entire bye week too, so he wasn't ready. Like, I don't know, but
bro, you're ridiculous.
They're off the blackball list for this
you were like, I'm done with them last week, and this week you're like, yeah, I hate to do this. I got Cardinals.
Dude, it's bad. It's bad, dude. The Cardinals are an addiction.
You've been watching that in-season Hard Knocks?
No, I can't watch that, dude. I don't know. I think it's too cringy. I don't want to watch Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury.
But you put your actual money on them to win. Like, you can't watch. Like, you gotta at least. I mean, you're betting with your head, I guess, but you gotta let your heart in every once in a while.
You're right. It can't, and especially when it's pounding because I hate it so
much.
Like,
you hate these guys, man. Like, every week we talk to each other, and you're like, I hate the Cardinals. Like, I hate the Cardinals.
I do. I fucking hate them. Oh, geez. Maybe they can win me some money. All right, Tyson, I'm unveiling this one. My money line parlay of the week. Ravens, Bucs, Chargers. I'm going to throw them in there for plus 12-18. Short one with the Ravens, Bucs, Chargers, both getting 3 in the hook. I'm just going to take them on the money line. Dogs have been doing well. I'm going to roll with this one. $10 gets you 121. 100 gets you that number right there. But plus 12-18, I'm going to roll the dice on this one.
Yeah, and if you want to go the other way, it's plus 647. So the value is pretty good, actually, on what you got going. I had to type that in there. Look, I love giving out parlays on the show. And for plus 12-18, there's a lot worse things I think you could put $10 on this weekend.
Skip the Starbucks, skip the Dunkin'. Let's go. Let's ride with the boys here.
Yeah, don't validate your parking. Whatever you got to do to get to, I mean, shit, man. We always said that as a joke, like skip the coffee, but damn near is getting $10 a cup.
Oh, it's crazy. It is crazy. All right, that's money making time for this week. Week 14, I can't believe it. I'm depressed, bro. It's coming way too fast.
Yeah, but then, like, I mean, we're slowly getting back in the NBA. I think we haven't been quite as good as in years past, but then we'll just be all the way in there in college basketball. Like, it doesn't really stop for us.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, we'll start cranking those up, especially when bowl season starts getting done. If you missed our last episode, we started previewing the college bowl games. Go check that out, whether you're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to us. Please like, subscribe, and share. It really helps us out. If you like the show, whether on YouTube or Apple or Spotify, it helps us in the charts. It helps us be found by other people. So we appreciate your support. Instagram @_ the roundtable pod. TikTok is the same, and Twitter, we're bullshitting around on there. TRT_ pod is our handle. Chalkboard, free app. All of these bets will be in there, plus more. Like Tyson mentioned, our college basketball, NBA, hockey, World Cup starts back up. We'll have everything in there, so make sure to join that. Links in the bio. It is free. We will be back after Monday Night Football, live for those on Twitch and Twitter, coming out to you Tuesday if you're listening to us recorded. Until next time, guys, peace.